I never imagined that a single act of kindness could ripple across the stars with such force. My name is Ethan Calder, and 2 years ago, I had done what any human with a conscience would have done. I rescued 2 alien girls freezing in a desolate wasteland. I didn't know their names then, nor the significance of their lineage. I was just a freighter pilot hauling supplies on the fringe worlds of the Cythera expanse. That decision, purely instinctive, would change the galaxy forever. It began with a crash. My cargo shuttle had been rerouted due to a gravitational anomaly near the icy moon of Orinthal 9. Navigational errors sent me spiraling into a canyon of frozen spires. The temperature was deadly, my emergency suits barely functional in sub-zero conditions. Then I saw them, 2 small figures huddled together, barely clinging to life. Their skin shimmered in pale shades, bioluminescent in the dim light of the ice. Their eyes were large, reflecting fear, exhaustion, and a trust they could hardly afford. I didn't hesitate. I grabbed my emergency blankets, fired up the heat generator, and carried them to my shuttle. "Stay with me," I whispered, unsure if they could understand my words. Once aboard, I learned they were sisters, Lyria and Seren, members of a minor exiled noble line of the Terrellian Empire. Their family had been hunted for decades due to internal political strife. They were fugitives, fleeing assassins loyal to rival houses. In the icy wastes of Orinthal 9, they were essentially abandoned, left to die. I didn't care about politics, cared about survival. I treated their frostbite, stabilized their vitals, and delivered them to a safe haven on Cythera Prime. The first few weeks were tense. Neither sister spoke much. Their memories were clouded with trauma, their culture alien to me. But slowly trust grew. Lyria, older and protective, began to teach me the Terrellian language and customs. Seren, younger and shy, observed quietly, occasionally offering glimpses of humor. I thought my involvement would end there, just a humanitarian act. I never imagined it would become a catalyst for interstellar war. It was a few months later that the first message arrived, an encrypted transmission from a Terrellian noble I had never met. "You have their daughters," the message read. "Return them, or your world will face consequences." I laughed nervously. "I saved their lives. They're not property." The reply was curt. "They are heirs. By law, your interference has political ramifications. You have 48 hours. I ignored it. 2 days later, an ambassador arrived in person, a Terrellian envoy of sharp eyes and sharper instincts. "You don't understand," she said coldly. "These girls are crucial to the balance of power. You've destabilized centuries of governance." "I saved them from freezing to death," I said evenly. "If that destabilizes your politics, that's your problem, not mine." Her expression hardened. "The galaxy notices actions like yours. You will answer for them." I didn't realize the extent of her words at the time. Years passed. The sisters grew stronger. They learned about human technology, diplomacy, and ethics. They became invaluable allies and, more importantly, survivors with a new perspective. Lyria became a strategist, Seren a diplomat. Their natural brilliance combined with the lessons I taught them allowed them to navigate both Terrellian politics and galactic commerce with ease. Meanwhile, I returned to my life as a freighter pilot, assuming the Terrellian Empire had forgotten me. I underestimated them. Then the galaxy retaliated. It began with scouts, small warships appearing on the fringes of Cythera Prime. At first, I thought it was coincidence or routine patrols. Then the reports escalated. Fleets converging from multiple star systems, blockades, and planetary sieges. Within a week, 5,000 warships, The combined strength of several allied Tyrellian houses surrounded our sector. The message was simple: return the heirs or face annihilation. Panic rippled through Cythera Prime. Local defense fleets scrambled. I was called to emergency meetings with planetary leaders, yet all eyes invariably returned to me. The human who had kidnapped the heirs. The human who had defied the galaxy's expectations. The sisters stood beside me, their faces resolute. Lyria spoke first. We owe you nothing but gratitude. But we will not go back to a system that tried to kill us. Saren added softly. We have the right to choose our destiny. Not by bloodline, not by law, but by survival. Their words inspired the Planetary Council. But the situation remained dire. 5,000 warships were converging, millions of trained soldiers ready to destroy everything in our path. I realized we couldn't fight them all conventionally. Instead, we needed strategy, cunning, and leverage. Lyria devised a plan. Using my knowledge of human engineering, we retrofitted old defense satellites into automated defense grids. Saren coordinated diplomatic channels, sending messages to Tyrellian houses that opposed the war. I led a small strike team to infiltrate the nearest Tyrellian command ship, disabling its communication arrays. The plan was risky. If we failed, Cythera Prime would be vaporized. But we had no choice. The operation was flawless in execution, chaotic in consequence. The automated grids intercepted several warships before they could enter orbit. Our infiltration team disabled communications, creating confusion among the Tyrellian fleets. Meanwhile, Saren's diplomatic efforts sowed dissent, convincing key houses that continuing the assault was political suicide. Within days, the tide shifted. The 5,000 warships began withdrawing, their attacks petering out. Cythera Prime had survived, not because of overwhelming firepower, but because of strategy, intelligence, and unity. The aftermath was transformative. The sisters, now fully recognized as leaders, negotiated peace treaties with multiple factions. Their influence grew, fostering alliances across previously hostile systems. The galaxy, once united in punishment, had become a network of cooperation under their guidance. I remained by their side not as a hero, but as a mentor and advisor. Together, we rebuilt Cythera Prime's infrastructure, strengthened its defenses, and fostered interstellar diplomacy. The sisters' experiences, combined with human ingenuity, created a model of governance that emphasized choice, ethics, and adaptability over strict adherence to outdated customs. Years later, I watched Lyria and Saren address the United Council of Allied Systems. Their speeches, eloquent and unwavering, were broadcast across multiple sectors. They spoke of compassion, courage, and the power of one human who had refused to abandon two girls when the galaxy itself seemed indifferent. I realized then that my act of saving them was never just about survival, it was about planting a seed. One small seed that had grown into a movement strong enough to challenge the entire galaxy. The sisters turned to me afterward, their golden eyes reflecting both gratitude and pride. "Thank you," Lyria said softly. "No," I replied, smiling. "Thank you for teaching me that courage isn't measured by strength or weapons, but by the willingness to do what's right when it matters most." And as the twin suns of Cythera Prime set on a peaceful horizon, I understood the truth. Sometimes, saving just two lives can change the course of history. In a galaxy of millions of worlds, a human's compassion had sparked a chain reaction, a reminder that even the smallest acts can echo across the stars, shaping futures, inspiring courage, and leaving a legacy that no fleet of warships can erase. Two alien sisters had survived because one human refused to walk away. And the galaxy would never forget.